You'll want to watch until the end, because the fourth and final news story today reveals a potential controversy at Wrexham. Did the club overspend on a signing? Some big names in British football are hinting that yes, and it's causing quite a stir. But before we get to that bombshell, we've got 3 important updates you need to know to fully understand what's happening with the Welsh club right now. Let's dive in. News 1. Who will wear Cresswell's shirt? Wrexham is on the verge of signing another experienced Premier League name, left-back Aaron Cresswell, who played for years at West Ham. Negotiations are at an advanced stage, and the fans are already excited about the possibility of having such a well-known player join the squad. But there's an interesting, and even symbolic, detail to this story. Cresswell has always been associated with the number 3 shirt, since his days at Tranmere Rovers, Ipswich Town, and later at West Ham, where he spent nearly a decade. But at Wrexham, that number already has an owner. Young defender Lewis Brunt currently wears number 3. So now what? Will Cresswell give up the number that's been with him for over 15 years? Wrexham still has some interesting shirt numbers available, like 2, 14, 18, 21, and others. But do any of them carry the same weight for the player? A shirt number has history, superstition, identity, and for some athletes, that really matters. Just imagine the scene behind the scenes. Will there be a conversation between the two? A request? A friendly offer? Or will Cresswell arrive calmly, ready to start a new chapter with a new number? Now we wait and see. Who will wear number 3 for Wrexham in League One? News 2. Okonkwo'S prediction is coming true. If you watched the Welcome to Wrexham series, you probably remember an emotional and honest moment from goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo. In one scene, he opens up about the hardest part of football, seeing friends leave the club. And now, his prediction is becoming reality, right before our eyes. With promotion to League One, coach Phil Parkinson moved quickly to reshape the squad. And as happens with every step up in division, some goodbyes are inevitable. Among those who have already left are Stephen Fletcher, Mark Howard, and even fan favourite Jordan Davies, a player closely tied to the club's project. Parkinson's vision is clear: maintain a solid, winning foundation while raising the squad's quality to compete head-to-head in a tougher league. And Okonkwo, who has returned to the club and is beloved by the fans, is expected to be a key piece in this new cycle. He's likely to stay alongside promising talents like Max Cluth and Lewis Brunt, as well as experienced reinforcements like Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith, who recently joined to add depth to the team. But uncertainty still hangs in the air. Other players who were part of last season's successful campaign still don't know if they'll stay. Fans are starting to wonder, who else will leave? Who else will join? This is the part of football few people see: the emotions behind the scenes, the broken bonds, and the pressure for results. And Arthur Okonkwo, with his mature outlook, seems to have sensed it all before anyone else. The coming days promise to be intense in Wrexham, and every name that leaves or arrives could change the club's destiny in League One. News 3. FIFA rule could benefit Wrexham. An unusual situation is unfolding in England, and Wrexham could come out ahead. Striker Michael Smith, currently at Sheffield Wednesday, could become a free signing thanks to a FIFA rule few people know about, but one that could impact many players in 2025. Wrexham has tried to sign Smith twice in recent transfer windows, but high wages and Sheffield's unwillingness to negotiate blocked the move. Now, everything could change. The Sheffield club is facing wage delays, and if they fail to pay again at the end of this month, Smith could terminate his contract unilaterally and at no cost, based on FIFA regulations. According to the current rules, if a player goes 2 months without receiving wages, he can formally notify the club. From that moment, the club has 15 calendar days to resolve the issue. If they fail to do so, the player becomes a free agent, able to sign with any team without transfer fees. And we're not talking about just any player. Michael Smith scored more goals last season than Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer, Wrexham's top scorers. He combines physicality, experience, and goal-scoring instincts, and he'd be a perfect fit for a team on the rise that needs more offensive depth to face the challenges of League One. On top of that, Smith has already shown interest in joining an ambitious project, and Wrexham, with international visibility, solid infrastructure, and a passionate fan base, might be the ideal setting for him to relive his best days. Now the question is, will Sheffield manage to pay the salaries on time? Will Smith activate the clause? And will Wrexham act quickly to bring in this potential key signing? If this happens, it'll be another masterstroke by the Red Dragons, exploiting market loopholes like seasoned pros. News 4. Did the club overpay for a player? A new controversy is shaking Wrexham behind the scenes, and it promises to spark debate for quite some time. During the last transfer window, the the Red Dragons were strategic and ambitious. In search of names that could raise the squad's level for League One, the club targeted Sam Smith, an experienced striker with good instincts and a solid track record in higher divisions. The goal was clear: bring in someone who could win games. Smith arrived and delivered, 7 goals at the season's end, with direct impact in key matches that essentially secured promotion. The fans embraced him quickly, shirts sold, chants in the stands, and praise on social media. It was the classic case of a ready-made signing. But while the spotlight shines on the pitch, behind the scenes it's a different story. In the most recent episode of the Welcome to Wrexham documentary series, executive and co-owner Michael Williamson dropped a cryptic but loaded comment. Without naming exact figures, he suggested the club might have spent more than it should have on Sam Smith's signing. That comment hit like a bombshell behind the scenes. Subtle as it was, it clearly hinted at some internal tension over the player's cost. Was it an overreach? A miscalculation? Or just a critique disguised as reflection? The reaction was immediate. Attentive fans began speculating online about contract value, performance bonuses, and wages. Local journalists also picked up the story, publishing opinion pieces in the days after the episode aired. And while the locker room remained silent, there's been plenty of movement in the club's corridors. Director of Football Sean Harvey was the first to speak out strongly. According to him, Sam Smith was Wrexham's #1 target for the season. He stated the board was absolutely convinced that the player could be a game-changer, and that's why the investment was made without hesitation. Harvey also emphasized that the numbers backed the signing. Smith didn't just score goals, he created plays, opened space for Paul Mullin, and was key to Phil Parkinson's offensive strategy, which relies on mobile strikers with strong tactical awareness. But Williamson's comment left a mark. The lingering question is, was it a necessary investment for success? Or is the club flirting with the risk of setting dangerous financial precedents? Wrexham, after all, is in a transitional moment. After years of obscurity in English football, the club has surged forward with investment and global visibility. But with that comes the need for balance. Moving up divisions is no use if you're spending beyond your sustainable means. The fan base is split. Some believe Smith is exactly the kind of player worth the investment. He came, played, delivered, and can still shine in League One. Others, however, warn of a potential snowball effect, where growing expenses start to seem normal, and that could threaten the club's financial health down the line. And here's a key point: Phil Parkinson hasn't spoken publicly on the matter. But knowing the coach, who always protects his players and keeps the focus on the pitch, it's likely he saw the comment as an unnecessary jab at the group. Internally, this tension could cause friction within the club's leadership, especially if the next season starts with a few setbacks. It's worth remembering that Smith will be competing for his spot with well-established names like Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer, and now the challenge is to prove he's not just a short-term solution, but a consistent long-term investment. If he matches or surpasses last season's numbers, the criticism will fade. But if the goals don't come, Williamson's comment could mark the start of a new internal crisis. The next season promises to be electrifying, on and off the pitch. And you, fan, do you think Wrexham made a smart investment, or overpaid for a dream? What do you think? Is Wrexham spending wisely or going overboard with its signings? Leave your opinion in the comments, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters of this Welsh football saga, and we'll see you in the next video.